How do ships float? Why do ships float? I see a bunch of videos on YouTube right now trying to explain all this with nice little animations and everything. So I just wanted to come up here and explain it in a simpler manner without touching on like Archimedes principles or buoyancy, anything like that. You know, to help the 60% of y'all who might be going on a cruise and just want to feel safe. So to explain how ships float, we must first look at what exactly is floating in and how anything for that matter floats. So water, just like anything else in the world, has a weight to it. So in order for anything to be able to sink in that water, it must first move the water out the way. So that means the weight of the object itself has to be stronger than the weight of the water. So in this case, this ball is clearly not heavier than water. So it just stays on the top essentially. And that works for a lot of different things. This ball, for example, is heavier than that ball, but still ultimately it's not heavier than water, and water just pushes it back up to the top. But then you get something that's a lot more chunky, for example, and dense, for example. It will push the water straight out the way. Oh my God. And ultimately sink down to the bottom. And while there's a lot of more factors that go into it, that's essentially how ships work. They also too try not to displace the water in order to stay on the top. So for that to happen, they have to be lighter than the amount of water is pushing out the way. And you may ask yourself like, but these are big, heavy ships. Yes, they are. But just as much as they are heavy, they are big. So you would take a ship like this that could be, you know, as large as a cruise ship. It doesn't exactly mean that it's heavy enough to push out all the water that's underneath the cruise ship. But there are cases where a ship can get heavier and heavier until it eventually can't support the weight anymore and sink. So boom, basically the weight plays a majority of the factor into whether a ship sinks or doesn't sink. So just keep that in mind. And here are some videos of ships not floating.
İşte gemimizi artık uğurluyoruz. Görüyorsunuz. Ebediyete gidiyoruz. Ebediyete gidiyoruz.